Imagine picking up the same generic prescription you have used for years, only to find that the price has doubled or the pharmacy says it cannot get the medicine at all. That is the concern behind President Trump's proposal to place steep tariffs on imported generic drugs. The policy is meant to bring pharmaceutical manufacturing back to the United States, but the effect on your wallet may depend on something still unresolved, whether companies raise prices, move production, or stop selling certain medicines here. So, do you think more medicines should be made in the United States, even if that could mean paying more for them at first? Let me know in the comments, because that trade-off sits at the center of this debate. Now, the proposal would exempt imported generic drugs for 2 years, then apply a 100% tariff beginning in August 2028. 1 year later, the tariff could rise to 200% if manufacturers have not moved production to the United States. The administration says the goal is not simply to collect tariff money. It wants drug makers to build factories here, hire American workers, and reduce dependence on foreign suppliers. That dependence is substantial. Generic drugs make up roughly 90% of prescriptions filled in the United States, and much of the production is overseas. India supplies more than half of the generic prescriptions filled in this country. China is also a major source of finished medicines and active ingredients, supplying 95% of imported ibuprofen, 70% of imported acetaminophen, and as much as 45% of imported penicillin. For the administration, this creates a national security problem. A pandemic, war, shipping disruption, natural disaster, or political conflict could interrupt access to medicines millions of people use every day. From that view, paying more to make essential drugs closer to home is a little like buying insurance. It may cost more now, but it could reduce the risk of serious disruption later. But generic drugs are not like expensive brand name drugs. Brand name companies may charge hundreds or thousands of dollars because patents limit competition. Generic manufacturers compete mostly on price, and their profit margins are often very small. One industry consultant described a 100 to 200% tariff on a product with single-digit margins as essentially a notice to leave the market. And this is where the possible impact on your prescription bill becomes easier to picture. Suppose a generic medication costs $10 today. If a 100% tariff were fully passed through, the price could theoretically rise to about $20. A $25 prescription could rise to around $50. Under a 200% tariff, a $10 medicine could theoretically cost around $30. Those are simple illustrations, not forecasts. Your actual price would depend on insurance, pharmacy contracts, copays, competition, and the final tariff rules. A company might absorb part of the cost, or an insurer might negotiate a lower price. Still, experts generally believe generic manufacturers have little room to absorb tariffs this large. And a few extra dollars on one prescription may not sound severe, but many people take several generic medicines every month. Someone managing blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, depression, and heart disease may fill 4 or 5 prescriptions at a time. If each one rises by $5, $10, or $20, the added cost could reach hundreds of dollars a year. That would be especially difficult for retirees and people on fixed incomes. Someone receiving Social Security may already be balancing premiums, groceries, rent, utilities, and medical bills. Even modest increases can lead to painful choices, such as delaying a refill, cutting back elsewhere, or using a credit card to cover health care. The increase may look small on a policy chart, but feel very different inside a monthly budget. The bigger danger, though, may not be price. It may be availability. If a manufacturer decides the United States is no longer profitable, it might stop selling a drug here rather than pay the tariff or build a factory. Generic companies serve many countries, and they can direct supply toward markets where the returns are better. This is how a policy designed to strengthen the supply chain could create short-term strain. If imported products face heavy tariffs before enough American factories are operating, the country could temporarily have fewer suppliers. Fewer suppliers can mean less competition, greater shortage risk, and less flexibility when one factory has a quality problem or production delay. Also, the 2-year transition period is another concern. Industry experts estimate that building a domestic generic manufacturing system could take at least 4 to 5 years. A company cannot simply rent a warehouse and begin making medicine. It needs specialized equipment, trained workers, suppliers, quality controls, regulatory approvals, inspections, testing, and proof that every production line works safely. Even after a factory is built, it may take time to produce enough medicine to replace large overseas suppliers. That is why some experts say tariffs could be one part of a broader strategy, but probably cannot do the job alone. They argue the government may also need purchasing guarantees, tax incentives, reimbursement changes, and policies that reward reliable domestic production. The generic drug industry has responded carefully. Its main trade association supports efforts to stabilize the supply chain and expand domestic manufacturing, but wants more details. Manufacturers say the current market rewards the lowest possible price, even when that leaves little money for factory upgrades, backup capacity, or American production. They are being asked to manufacture in a more expensive country while selling into a system built around constant price pressure. And several important rules remain unresolved. One is whether tariffs would apply only to finished imported medicines or also to drugs made here with imported ingredients. That matters because an American factory may still rely on chemicals or active ingredients from China or India. A drug could be made in the United States while much of its supply chain remains overseas. Another question is what counts as moving production. Would a company need a fully operating factory, or would construction plans and investment commitments be enough? Could medicines receive exemptions when there is no domestic alternative? Would companies negotiate separate agreements with the government? Those details could determine whether the policy encourages investment or creates a confusing system of exceptions. For consumers, there is no reason to panic or stockpile medicine. The tariffs would not begin until August 2028 under the proposal, and many details could change before then. It does make sense to know which medicines you use, whether they already face shortages, how much you pay with and without insurance, and whether your plan offers lower-cost pharmacy options. It can also help to keep an updated medication list and ask your doctor whether equivalent alternatives exist if a drug becomes expensive or difficult to find. Do not switch or stop a prescription on your own. The goal is simply to understand your options before a shortage or price increase forces a rush decision. So, the larger debate comes down to resilience versus cost. The administration believes the United States has allowed too much essential drug production to move abroad, and that tariffs can push companies to rebuild American capacity. Critics agree that foreign dependence is a concern, but worry broad tariffs could raise prices and reduce supply before new factories are ready. For your wallet, the key point is that the tariff percentage will not automatically equal your exact price increase. A 100% tariff does not guarantee every copay doubles, but it creates cost pressure somewhere in the system. And that pressure can appear through higher cash prices, higher insurance spending, changing formularies, fewer manufacturers, or shortages. So this is not only a trade policy story. It is a question about who makes the medicine in your cabinet, how secure that supply is, and who pays for the transition if production returns to the United States. The final impact will depend less on the headline tariff rates and more on the rules, exemptions, timelines, and support offered to manufacturers. For now, watch the policy, know what your prescriptions cost, and remember that affordable medicine depends on both low prices and a reliable supply.